The world is not ready for the nightmare that lives underground. What you will discover is that this nightmare is assimilating the entire human race.
Whatever your problem is right now, it's coming from this deep underground military base system. And everything that's bothering you is coming from this deep state underground military base system. Not only is it a pretty map or something cute to talk about, it is the biggest threat to humanity right now, because this system isn't just conspiracy theory. This system is currently assimilating the entire country and the entire planet to protect itself, to grow. It's using people as substrate or plant food, and it's self-aware, and these cell towers are just an extension of that system, just like the drones and soon to be robots, and they're building up this core of the system to unleash an iRobot storm. Not to mention a storm of Westworld clones and so much more. And what we've discovered is that these systems are now moving towards quantum technologies, not just because it sounds cool, but because they can do so much more with quantum technologies than ever before. And this book goes into the most cutting-edge technologies that are being used by this system to basically take over the world through assimilation and energy weapons. And not only are they controlling the people on TV, but they're controlling the people on the ground through cell towers. And these cell towers aren't just telecommunications equipment. These cell towers are mind control towers. They're energy weapons capable of not only picking up people's inner voice, but also interdicting with synthetic telepathy, MK Ultra like techniques that include psychic driving, as well as negative reinforcement through electronic harassment. And they're able to tag and track every individual in the country through these nodes. And there's a map that goes with this book that you'll be able to discover on our new website, transhumangenocide.com. But they're able to mind control, assimilate, torture, kill, and basically run the entire government through this system. And the system is basically self-aware. It's a Skynet-like system. And what we're learning is that the new model for all bases in this network is like what's happening at Bluffdale, where there's a large military base physically there to protect the Skynet system. And not only is this happening at Bluffdale, but
this brilliant little device keeps any room ice cold all summer and toasty warm all winter with zero
also at Fort Meade in Maryland. The NSA headquarters is basically on a military base, and it's the nexus of everything civilian and military. All of your Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and all of that basically gets fed into that military complex. And then these bases, and they're operatives, their clones, their crisis actors, their NPCs come after you. And most of these bases appear normal, but many of them have an underground side to them, like an underworld. And some of these bases, these underground bases, are well known, like Cheyenne Mountain, like Raven Rock, like Mount Weather. And they have tunnels, and they have security, and they have the news reports that go with them, or movies that go with them. We know they exist, but the legend of these bases basically kind of originates more in the conspiracy world. And people like Bill Cooper and Phil Schneider were really the first ones to kind of talk about it and tell people about what's going on at these locations. And they were heavily documenting what was happening in the Dulce area, which is a huge corridor of concern. This entire area, this grid right here, is one of the hottest grids in the country, with the Pryor meganode over here, the Pantex meganode over here, and when we venture over here towards Kirtland Air Force Base, Sandia Labs, boy, are we discovering a treasure trove of intelligence. And this is exactly where Bill Cooper basically kind of started his investigations, was in this area. And the book talks about what Bill Cooper is talking about before they killed him. And it was the same thing with Phil Schneider, and they were focusing on this same area. And this is what got us kind of interested with the Kirtland, Sandia, and the Dulce area. I think Dulce is pretty close by. We're going to have to look at the directory here. I don't want to sidetrack and be like, where's Dulce? But there's so many nodes here. There we go. So the Dulce base, Phil Schneider was talking about the Dulce base. We heavily investigated that in the book and found some rather interesting information, to say the least. But this whole area here is what kind of sparked the conspiracy theories between Dulce and Kirtland and the Sandia labs. And it's well documented that there are underground facilities in this whole block. But not only this whole block, everything, I mean, Nevada, basically the whole state of Nevada over here and all the way up to Dulce is just pretty much government land. Area 51, all of this is where the worst of the worst is. The missing people and so much more. And this is probably the network that took out Isaac Kappy and Charlie Kirk, according to our reports. But there's so much that people need to understand about these data centers. It's not just, they're coming to your location, sucking up the water and the electricity. It's part of a bigger system that's preparing for the massive rollout of robots, Robocops, Terminators, and the like. This site over here is where they make all of the top secret weapons. One of them. There are many sites like this that we talk about in the book, the new book, Deep Underground Military Bases. But it's not just what the military is doing or not doing. It's what else was happening behind the scenes. And what we discover in our investigations is that not only are they funneling trillions of dollars into this system, but they handed everything over to Bill Gates. And I think that's where it just really starts getting freaky. They handed everything over to Bill Gates and Epstein. And let me see if we can... I think it's further down. But they basically hijack everything from Oak Ridge and beyond and take total control of the system underground, everything. They handed everything over to Bill Gates in 2019 during the pandemic. And not only was he the front man of that campaign, but he was also controlling the entire Department of Defense and beyond. And so we're starting to get a much better idea of what the Epstein network was really about through this investigation. And one of the other things that we discovered was the underground facilities underneath the Zorro Ranch, which basically end up being like right in this Dulce area, right next door to Los Alamos. And they're basically raiding Los Alamos and Oak Ridge. I think we've got an Epstein layer in this map somewhere. And again, you can access all of this through our new website, Transhuman Genocide. And it's got the intel and all of that. But basically, Epstein Zorro Ranch is right here. Right next to this Kirtland Sandia Nexus, Los Alamos. And the people that are building these underground bases, according to the public records, are also building the underground facility underneath Epstein's complex at Zorro Ranch. And the technology that they were into, it wasn't just like they're hooking up for hookers. Bill Gates and Epstein, they're essentially raiding all of the nation's top secrets, nuclear, fusion, you name it, AI, all of it.
You've heard me talk about All Family Pharmacy before, and I'm gonna keep talking about them because they're truly doing things the
And they're building something behind the scenes. And they were holding summits of with all of the top physicists on Epstein's Island and in Miami, and the more we track the Dr. Evil side of this and how it fits into this deep underground military base system, the more interesting the investigations become. And our book, our new book, really goes far beyond where most of these types of books go when it comes to the deep underground system. We start with the Bill Cooper, Phil Schneider investigations, and we follow the evolution since the 1960s. But they've been building underground for well over 60 years now. And we've been able to track down quite a bit of action in that regards, but also, like, what's perhaps more concerning is where all of this cutting edge technology